ovation, mountains sing in chorus. Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash, Ki niflaot asa. Hoshia lo yaminos, oh akocho. Wherever there is life, celebrate, 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 celebrate. V'da 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 shei olam chazeh heino ela geshet tzar meod. V'da 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 shei olam chazeh heino ela geshet tzar meod. V'da 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 shei olam chazeh heino ela geshet tzar meod. V'da 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 shei olam chazeh heino ela geshet tzar meod. Please know and understand, take it to your heart that this world is merely a thin and narrow bridge. Please take it to your heart, know and understand that this world is merely a thin and narrow bridge. You need never be afraid. 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 V'da 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 shei olam chazeh heino ela geshet tzar meod. V'da 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 shei olam chazeh heino ela geshet tzar meod. Please know and understand, take it to your heart that this world is merely a thin and narrow bridge. Please take it to your heart, know and understand that this world is merely a thin and narrow bridge. You need never be afraid. 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 But a little you need never be afraid. 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 Yambo, yambo, vo 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 vo. Thank you so much. Vo 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 ya vo vo va 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 va. Vo le la go fo 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 vale o fa. Vo 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 er la mambe ali o lo here. Vo vo ve er la mambe alo heva. Vo vo ve er la mambe dali dali do do. Ya mambe er la mambe volo hera la. Vole 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 de de. Volo mambe le de. Volo mambe le. Volo mambe 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 le. Vo vo ve er la mambe vole vole vo.
Good afternoon. Blessed friends, our teachers, our fellow students, beloved members of our families, and of our kahal here today with us. Hinenu, we are here. We are here in this place, together in physical space for the first time in not one, not two, but in 3 years. We made it. We have, thank God, been sustained in our lives and brought to this time. We have been brought to this place. We have been brought to this moment. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. On behalf of the Aleph Ordination class of 2023, I welcome you to our Smicha ceremony. May you feel with us our gratitude and awe of this holy calling. May you feel with us the blessings of a life rooted in Torah and service to God, the Jewish people, and indeed to all of God's creatures. Welcome.
Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. How good is it to be sheltered by your tents, Jacob. We do not take these words for granted from Torah, not only because of the pandemic, but as Jews, we understand that it is not always safe for us to gather in prayer and publicly engage in Jewish life. To honor this precious moment of gathering, we offer you a musical setting of Ma Tovu that was recorded by my childhood chazan, cantor Saul Nadvan, Zichrono Livracha. In January 1946, 77 years ago, after surviving Dachau, he led the newly liberated Jews of Munich with this prayer at the inauguration service of the rebuilt Reichenbachstrasse synagogue that had been severely damaged on Kristallnacht by the wave of anti-Semitic violence orchestrated by the Nazis. We can't know for sure if Cantor Nadvan sang this particular musical setting at this inauguration service, but we can only imagine how grateful he and the people in attendance were to gather under the tent of Jacob in a sanctuary resurrected from the ashes of pain and suffering.
Ma tovu
Bruchim Habaim. A heartfelt welcome to our holy Musmachimot, friends, families, and community who have gathered here in Denver, Colorado, and who are joining us virtually from around the globe. I am honored and overjoyed for us to finally be together after 3 years as we celebrate the Smicha of our soon-to-be ordained rabbis and cantors. So let's take a deep collective breath, something we know how to do very well in renewal. And I want you to look around before you, scanning the room, filled with so much love, pride, and joy. We are here to witness you at this monumental transitional moment, a moment that you have been anticipating for a long time as you persevered and invested in your studies for many years, including through a pandemic, health issues, and navigating familial responsibilities and worldly turmoils. And as you said, Hinenu, here you are. So take another moment to call in all those whose shoulders you stand on, your ancestors, your teachers, your guides, your community, and the Holy One of Blessings that lives within and around and through. That's a lot of shoulders to rest on. So for many years, I have sat in this audience as well as where you sit today, first as aspiring Rav, and finally as an Aleph ordained rabbi, listening to our Dean Emerita, Rabbi Marcia Prager, offer her invocation, absorbing her words and Torah of inspiration. Join me in a gesture of Yirat HaKavod, reverence and honor, as we acknowledge her years of service as a visionary, mentor, teacher, and dean to bring forth Reb Zalman's legacy and his dream of training spiritual leaders in this neo-Hasidic movement. Take a look around. Soon, you will lean into the hands of your teachers and our AOP VOD, receiving the sacred transmission that has been passed down through generations of rabbis and cantors. So we've just completed the book of Bereshit. Rabbi Shefa Gold refers to this sefer as one of formation and incarnation. And this week, we enter the book of Shemot, the book of Exodus, a drama replete with plagues and miracles as we traverse the landscapes of the wilderness with Moshe Rabbeinu. As you too have been in formation as a Hazan or rabbi, you have journeyed through narrow places. And now you are called into the wide world of liberation, being offered lessons on how to be in relationship with the divine and with all creation. You are becoming, stepping into your identity. It is divine choreography that your smicha occurs at this time of transition, a liminal moment between these books. You get to imprint your holy black fire onto the white spaces of this ongoing narrative as you become spiritual leaders, unique in your gifts and your attributes. You have been blessed to go forth. And we read in Isaiah, Mi eshlach umi yelech lanu. Whom shall I send and who will go for us? Va'omar, hineni shlacheni. And I said, here I am, Send me. And what is the call you attune to? How will you be deployed into your spiritual leadership? As Rabbi Marcia offered you the blessing earlier today, she mentioned you can never have enough calls. So the Sfat Emet states, Kol Adam hanivra be'olam yesh lefanav matorah, שרק הוא יכול לתקנה ולצורך זה נברא, ושום אדם אחר לא יעשה זאת עבורו. Every person created in this world has before them a goal that only they can repair. And it was for this purpose that they were created. No one else can do the job in their stead. So for some of you, your tikkun, your deployment or purpose may appear evident at this moment. And for others, your path may not be so clear. How will you sit in the liminal space of not knowing, attuning to the quiet to give voice to your heart's calling? Perhaps the most powerful time to be in spiritual leadership is in the liminal spaces. It is a time to assert the qualities of anava, humility, savlanut, patience, bitachon, trust, and hakarat hatov, an invitation to see the good in the not knowing. And how do we do that in such a fractured world? Well, perhaps we invoke the spirit of the Me'orei Naim, who said, all we have to do is find the sparks of holiness wherever we go. And wherever you are is an opportunity to raise the moment with gratitude and loving kindness. So in this moment, we, your family and friends, your teachers and mentors and communities here and back home, are here to recognize your spark of light, of love, of kindness, and creativity. May you shine light on humanity as healers, scholars, activists, ritualists, community leaders, and celebrate your desire and devotion to bringing about more kedusha, more sparks of holiness into our world as you pursue justice and equality for all, reducing the suffering we encounter within ourselves and others. May you, 10 holy souls who sit before us today, be called Hazan and Rabbi to serve, inspire, witness, and love. May your unique spark be of cherished attributes, bring healing and wholeness to all souls who seek your presence, your skills, and your compassion. May you continue to cultivate da'at, the God consciousness, awareness, and mindfulness as an unfolding of the divine. May you trust in ones who will remind you of your purpose, and may you be nourished and fulfilled in your service. May your hearts be filled with expansiveness of tiferet, balancing chesed, loving kindness, with the right dose of gevura, containment, and boundaries. May you continue to learn, to pray, and to strengthen your spiritual connections with the divine mystery. May you lean into all the bounties that you have been gifted with as students throughout these years in the Aleph Ordination program. And may each one of you remember, you are not alone, even on challenging days. You are part of this amazing renewal chevra, which dwells in the God field and welcomes you with wide open arms. So together let's say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nitchazek. Be strong, and may you summon your strength as you go from incarnation to another.
My name is Alan Levin. I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I've had these past 7 years to study for the rabbinate and explore my spiritual life. The Hebrew term for gratitude is hakarat tova, which can be translated as recognition of kindness or grace. The term has a numerical value of 647, based on gematria, a Kabbalistic concept that assigns numerical values to letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Now, I come to my rabbinical studies after spending many years working with numbers in the world of corporate finance. So perhaps not surprisingly, judging by the reaction of my fellow musmachimot, I'm keenly interested in gematria and the hidden correspondences between words, phrases, and numbers. The number 647 is a prime number, a number that is indivisible by any other number. Think of prime numbers as the foundational atoms of the numerate world that underlies mathematical reality. By analogy, this says something about the prime importance of gratitude in our lives, the fundamental nature of an underlying mindset of appreciation. That being said, hakarat tova is a phrase that is composed of two words. Hakarat, with a value of 625, which is 5 raised to the 4th power, and tova, with a value of 22. And all of this points to something meaningful and mystical. For 22 are the number of letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and each letter represents a pathway amidst 10 attributes of the divine, as they are conceived when arrayed on the mystical tree of life. Indeed, each time we pray an acrostic psalm or liturgical poem, we are opening those 22 pathways, allowing chen, or grace, to flow through them and into our lives. And on that same tree of life, the 5th of those divine qualities is often associated with discipline when counting from the top down. And when counting from the bottom up, the 5th quality is associated with balance or compassion. Grace, discipline, balance, compassion. It's a meaningful constellation of words and concepts. The Aleph Ordination program has taught me about the value of pursuing a meaningful dream in a disciplined way. Through this program, I've come to better appreciate the importance of balancing head with heart. Through my chaplaincy efforts, I've come to appreciate the power of compassion. And I've come to understand that grace is a dynamic and ever-changing, meandering like a river through the different dimensions of my life. I am grateful for all of these insights. I stand here today grateful for the support and encouragement of my spouse, family, and friends. And it would be difficult to speak about gratitude without expressing my appreciation for Reb Zalman Schachter Shalomi of blessed memory, for his vision of Jewish renewal as we mark the 30th anniversary of Aleph, or my gratitude for the rabbis, cantors, rabbinic pastors, and spiritual directors who have guided me these last 7 years, most especially those who currently serve or have served as deans in the Aleph Ordination program, giving of their time and energy to better ensure the success and continuity of Jewish renewal as a movement of substance and international impact. And as we mark the AOP's 20th anniversary, I would like to express my profound appreciation for Marsha Prager, the Aleph Ordination program's founding dean, for her counsel and her leadership. I am humbled by the opportunity to stand on the shoulders of those who have come before me, humbled by the opportunity to be deployed, a link in the chain of renewal clergy. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Awe and gratitude. Wow. Thank you. I had been on a journey like our ancestor Yaakov. When I encountered Jewish renewal, I had a wow experience. מה נורא המקום הזה? אין זה כי אם בית אלוהים וזה שער השמיים. How awesome is this place? This is the house of Elohim. This is the gateway to heaven. I decided to go on a journey and entered the AOP program with a staff and a little bag, and now I have so much more. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן הזה ועתה הייתי לשני מחנות. With my staff alone I crossed this Jordan, and now I have become two camps. And now I'm asking for your blessing for a new name. ויאמר לו יעקב יאמר עוד שמך כי אם ישראל, כי שרית עם אלוהים ועם אנשים ותוכל. It is not Jacob anymore, Yaakov, but Israel, for you have wrestled with humans and God. Vatuchal. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Jacob, Israel, the one who witnessed the ladder. Jacob, who knew that he stumbled upon an opening to the higher realms. Jacob, who responded with awe and wonder and radical amazement, learned that God's name is a question. Leaving the question is the blessing. וישאל יעקב, ויאמר הגידה נא שמך, ויאמר למה זה תשאל לשמי, ויברך אותו שם. Jacob asked, tell me your name. He answered, for what do you ask my name? And he blessed him right there. Wow. And thank you. So here I am, ready to receive a new name, Rabbi. Thank you, teachers, for coming down to me. You stepped down the ladder, came into my mochin de katnut, my smaller mind, and lifted me intellectually, spiritually, and emotionally. Thank you, families and friends, for the time and the resources you gave me, so I can wrestle, learn, and pray. Some of you sent money. Others made dinner, took care of the kids. All of you offered something, so I can wrestle until I heard Vatuchal. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I stand here with awe and gratitude. Wow. Thank you. אני רוצה לסיים במילה אישית. להודות לשתי נשים שנמצאות פה בקהל, שבלעדיהם לא הייתי עומד פה היום. שתיהן לימדו אותי עברית. אחת לימדה אותי עברית בתור ילד. למרות שזאת לא הייתה שפת האם שלה, היא קיבלה את זה שהעברית תהיה שפת האם שלי. ועברית היא אכן השפה הראשונה שלי. זאת אמא שלי, יעל בחיים. I want to close with a personal thank you to two women who are in the audience today, without whom I would not be standing here. They both taught me Hebrew. One taught me to speak it as a child, although it was not her first language. She accepted that Hebrew will be my mother's tongue, that Hebrew will be my first language. And this is my mother, Yael Machanaimi. There's another woman sitting here today who taught me to listen to Hebrew as a language that is holy, rich, and beautiful. A language that can describe the higher realms of consciousness, and a language full of secrets and wisdom. She welcomed me back from my voluntary exile into the Jewish community with an open heart and endless patience. That woman is Rabbi Marsha Prager. Wow. Thank you. Awe and gratitude.
As Chazanim, we bring our liturgy alive in many different ways. We daven, that is, pray, in Hebrew with Nusach, the traditional chant. And we introduce renewed musical settings in English. The music of our prayers awakens our spirits and brings us closer to Hashem, to God.
In the Modim prayer of gratitude, we say, Ve'al nisecha shebechol yom imanu, ve'al niflotecha v'tovotecha, shebechol et, erev v'avoker v'tzoraim. These words remind us of God's daily miracles, the wonders and the goodness in our lives. As we sing, we invite each of you to acknowledge your own gratitude and notice the blessings in your life.
Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim, modim anachnu lach. Tzur chayenu, magen yishenu, atahu ledor vador. Node lecho, unesaper tehiratecho, al chayenu, hamsurim beyadecha, ve'al nishnotenu hapkudot lach. Modim anachnu lach, modim anachnu lach, modim, modim anachnu lach. ואל נפלותיך וטובותיך שבכל עת, ערב הבוקר וצהריים. מודים אנחנו לך, מודים
Nulach.
This one is on. All right. They just turned it on. Okay. You hold this. I'm known for good logistics, so I think we just got ourselves in place, and I'm grateful for that.
And I am grateful for this song. For each day I live, my God, for each day I live, I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful, grateful each day I live. I am gifted by your glory. I am lifted by your love. I am grateful, grateful. Every day I live. I am grateful, grateful. Every day I live. For each day I live, my God. Each day I live, my God. Each day I live. Each day I am grateful, grateful. I am grateful, grateful, forever grateful. I live. Each day I live. I am gifted by your glory. I am lifted by your love. I am grateful, grateful. Every day I live. I am grateful, grateful. Every day I live.
I'm grateful too. And I like keeping things real. And I'm going to talk to you about Torah. And here's something very real about Torah. It's sexist, homophobic, misogynistic, xenophobic, patriarchal. And we're done with the patriarchy, right? I know I am. God of our Torah is male, violent, short-tempered, punishing, raining plagues down upon a people he claims to be his Amsagula, his treasured people. Our forefathers and mothers were liars, cheats, and schemers. Right? If that makes you uncomfortable, it shouldn't. Because our forefathers, and I do mean forefathers, gave us permission to challenge and argue with Torah. Torah itself gives us permission. Moses, Abraham, and the daughters of Tzilchad, to mention a few, argued with God, and they challenged God. And sometimes they won. We are Yisrael. We are God wrestlers. We're supposed to wrestle with our texts. Our tradition expects us. But let's be real. That was true and is true in some communities still, for only some and only so far. For my parents, for that reason, to be religious was shameful. Rabbi, why would you want to do that? Spiritual? What's that? I can't tell you how many times I tried to explain to my mother. They thought, why can't you just bring your Jewish values into politics? They did that. Yes, and they died in despair. But they were right about one thing. Well, they were right about many things. They cared very much about the world, very much, and they didn't believe that it was necessary to be religious in order to participate in repairing the world. And they were right that a world devoid of the colorful, beautiful tapestry of cultures and languages dominated by an American consumerist culture was devoid of beauty. But they didn't figure into it. They didn't figure Judaism into it as one of the beautiful cultures of the world. I mean, they sort of did, but not completely. They didn't understand. They thought it was just a story of liberation. They didn't know about the black fire and white light and am I getting it right? I don't know. White fire, yeah, I got it right? Oh, yay, okay. Good. Phew, okay, I'm qualified to be a rabbi now. They didn't know that the flawed characters of our Torah reflect our flawed human selves, and that they give us a chance to work on ourselves. They didn't know that it was our forefathers and mothers of the Torah that taught us as Jews endurance, that we were able to get through because of those stories. They didn't know about the divine flow that flows from Eden. Where are you, Elliot? There you are. The river, the continuous flow of divine energy that feeds our soul. They didn't know that if you read one word, if you read a certain word one way with certain vowels, it means one thing, and with other vowels but the same consonants means something completely different. Or maybe they're the same, because river can mean light. And when I feel overwhelmed by the despair in the world, and I want to escape to a mountain and chant away, Shefa, I remember that there's no escaping. There's no escaping global warming. There is no mountain to run to. And then I turn to my Jewish practice and my flawed inheritance for guidance and uplifting and hope. And I remember the passion that I have for all of this, to bring it to others, because there is no escaping. And I remember my Jewish obligation to engage with the world now for future generations, for my children. Margot, you're out there in the live stream. And I remember my Jewish obligation to be hopeful and positive for them, because if I lose hope, how will they go on? Because our ancestors taught us endurance. And we can appreciate the changes that more recent generations have brought to Judaism, including Jewish renewal, of course, because that's why I'm here, and the more progressive voices that have come to Torah interpretation, ours among them. And we can continue to co-create new ways of building on the endurance of our ancestors. And I think my parents would understand now. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to be heard. We talk about holy wow moments. This is one of those moments. One of the things that excites me about Judaism is that our Torah articulates a revolutionary consciousness characterized by love of the stranger, a movement toward freedom and justice, and a critique of imperial power and thinking. We face today social and economic struggles similar to those the prophets railed against in their time. I believe that one of our tasks as Jews is to apply prophetic consciousness to today's reality. In my work at the Network of Spiritual Progressives, I lead trainings in which I marshal the revolutionary wisdom of our tradition, combined with empathic discourse in an effort to help build a more loving and just world. God's compassion and God's empathy, as well as God's call for physical and psycho-spiritual liberation, are mobilized in the book of Exodus. First, God hears the cries of the Hebrew slaves, and God's compassion is reawakened. Second, God speaks to Moses from the burning bush. The God Moses hears is that aspect of God that makes possible the transformation from a world of oppression and exploitation to one of love, compassion, and justice. Moses' contribution was not solely in embracing one God, but in his idol-breaking conception of what that God is like. That God illuminates the interweaving of the moral and physical order, warning us that sustained societal immorality pollutes and destabilizes not only the social, economic, and political order, but also the environmental well-being of the planet and universe. The Creator is a God of liberation that seeks human partnership to disrupt any static oppressive order. Moses was sent to Egypt not merely to free slaves or overturn a regime, as important as that was, His mission was even grander than that. It was an assault on the consciousness of the empire, aimed at nothing less than the dismantling of its social practices and its ability to convince people that nothing can change. A society cannot be sustained without a moral and spiritual foundation that affirms love and people's desire for individual and collective liberation and revolutionary transformation. In the training I lead, we embark on a journey of self and collective discovery to dismantle the dominant consciousness of our time, namely capitalism, with its ethos of power over, selfishness, and greed. We strive to create a divinely and spiritually infused activism grounded in compassion, love, and justice. For me, the task of a Jewish spiritual leader today is to model and embody empathy and compassion, as well as the revolutionary consciousness contained in the Torah that teaches us, among other things, to equalize wealth and love the stranger, and to support and inspire others to do so as well.
The neo-Hasidic lineage of Reb Zalman Schachter Shalomi and Jewish Renewal. Todot lechachamenu Rav Daniel Siegel. Thank you to Reb Daniel Siegel. Va'asadchem al kanfei nisharim, va'avietchem elai. I lifted you on eagle's wings and brought you to me. Ki mi goy gadol asher lo Elohim krovim elav kadonai Eloheinu bechol korenu elav. For who else is such a great nation that has God so near to it as Yud He Vav He, our God, in all our calling? We are the people called from the slavery of Mitzrayim of Egypt, carried on the wings of Shekhinah, to be among those in the world who bear witness to the presence of the divine in this world. According to Pirkei Avot, Moshe received Torah at Sinai and transmitted it to Yoshua, who in turn transmitted Torah to the elders, who transmitted Torah to the prophets, who in turn transmitted it to the men of the Great Assembly. Over time, this linear transmission, the laying on of hands, Smicha, from one generation of men to another became diffused as we wandered, spread out over the world, and as the number of our teachers who nourished disciples grew.
For many, being a rabbi eventually became a degree, a measure of the intellectual mastery of a body of material, which in turn conferred power and authority. For us, being a Kli Kodesh acknowledges belonging to a lineage. In this moment of a great shifting of paradigms, we express a willingness to serve others as a model and guide of spiritual practice and development, with a commitment to justice and to the life of the earth. Today, we welcome our latest initiates, rabbis, cantors, rabbinic pastors, into the new lineage of spiritual Jewish renewal, drawing deeply on the wisdom of all those who have preceded us. Miyama vakedma tzafona vanegba, from west to east, from south to north, embracing their unique traditions and heritages and weaving themselves into a special relationship with devotional mystics of Sfarad, Tzfat, and Eastern Europe Hasidism, a lineage given first expression and form by our beloved Reb Zalman Schachter Shalomi Zichrono Livracha. Now in our time, we lay the hands of Smicha, of trust and confidence on all genders with loving respect for multiple possibilities of sexual orientation and gender expression. This is in keeping with our commitment to voluntary negotiations with the dynamic, ever-fluctuating balance between individual practice and communal cohesion.
According to the lineage of Pirkei Imaot, Miriam received Torah at Sinai and passed it to Machla, Noah, Chogla, Milka, and Tirza, the daughters of Tzlofchad, who passed it to Dvorah, who gave it to Hannah, who passed it to Michal bat Shaul, eventually received by Broria, transmitted to Rachel Aberlin of Tzfat, Chana Rochel of Ludmir, Regina Jonas of Berlin, and now surfacing again to walk side by side and share the light equally with the parallel lineage of men with which we began, even as we begin to conceive and receive the lineage of all genders. We are humbly grateful for this moment of living in the fulfillment of our age-old dream. May the light of the moon be like the light of the sun, and like the light of the 7 days of creation.
May the lights of all people in all their multiple, varied, and wonderful forms grow ever stronger in the bond of open partnership and service to the one. Amen.
Amen. We love you, Yasher Koach. Love you back.
Holy wow. Uh-oh. Holy wow. The moment we've all been waiting for. As the Dean of Students of the AOP, I have the holy, awesome privilege of calling our Musmachimot by name. With the members of the VAD and all those who have been invited to participate in the conferring of Smicha for our Chazanot, please come to the stairwell nearest you as I call them each by name. Gavriela Yardena bat Yisrael Mordechai Vebela. Chaya Sarah bat Shmuel Moshe uMiriam Chaya. Shulamit Esther bat Yaakov Yehuda v'Sarah. Devorah bat Shmuel v'Tova.
בשם יה אלוהי ישראל. ולשם ייחוד קודשה בריחו ושכינתי. על דעת המקום ועל דעת קהילתנו. הננו מסמיכים אתכן לכהן כחזנים ובעלי תפילה בישראל, להורות תורה לרבים ברבים, ולהקדיש עולם הנגינה לכבוד השכינה. והננו ממנים אנחנו אתכן להיות שליחות לעם ישראל, כשם שמינו אותנו המסמיכים אותנו, ויהי אתכן כידינו, פיכן כפינו, קולכם כקולנו, שירכן כשירנו, תפילתכן כתפילתנו, ברכתכן כברכתנו. לכן סמוכות אתן לנו, וחזן ובעלי תפילה בישראל תתקרו, כל המברך מתברך. In the name of Yah, the God of Israel, and for the sake of the unification of the Holy One, blessed be, and the Shekhinah, with the consent of God and the consent of our community, we here ordain you to serve as chazanim and masters of tefillah among our people Yisrael, to be a source of Torah to the multitudes, to elevate the realm of melody into holiness for the glory of the Shekhinah. We here appoint you as our agents, just as we were appointed by those who ordained us. May your hands be our hands, your mouths our mouth, your voices our voice, your songs our song, your prayers our prayer, your blessings our blessing. And so we ordain you and call you chazanim and balei tefillah in Yisrael. May the one who channels blessing be blessed.
I give you Chazan Gabriel Pescador, Chazan Laura Mandaliz, Chazan Sally Heckelman, Chazan Devorah Tucker. And we will somehow part the waters to make way for our Erev Rabbanim. Whatever your plan is, do it. Once again, will all those who are participating in conferring of Smicha for our newly about to be minted rabbis, please be ready as I call them each by name. Nachshon David ben Chanoch Yoram v'Yael Yakut. Chana Clara bat Yonah v'Shimshon. Nevi'at Ahava bat Joni. Daniela bat Marjorie v'Richard. Adam ben Asher u'Mazal. Yehudit Miriam bas Hindel.
לשם ייחוד קודשה בריחו ושכינתה על דת המקום ועל דת קהילתנו אנו מסמיכים אתכם לכהן כרבנים בישראל להורות תורה ברבים, לרבים ברבים, ולברר דין אמת לתיקון השכינה, כשם שמינו אותנו המסמיכים שלנו, כן ממנים אנחנו אתכם להיות שליחים לעם ישראל, למסור להם את דבר השם, הבא אלינו בזמן הזה. ותהיה ידכם כידינו, ועשייתכם כעשייתנו, ופיכם כפינו, ודיבורכם כדיבורנו, ומעשי בית דינכם כמעשי בית דיננו, וברכתכם כברכתנו. לכן, סמוכים אתם לנו, ורבי תתקראו, להורות תורה לרבים, כדת משה, מרים וישראל. In the name of Yah, the God of Israel, and for the sake of the unification of the Holy One, blessed be He, and and the Shekhinah, with the consent of God and the consent of our community, herewith we ordain you to officiate as rabbis in Israel, to publicly teach Torah, to clarify and pronounce truth in ways that make a tikkun for the Shekhinah.
And to clarify and pronounce truth in ways that make a tikkun for the Shekhinah.
We hereby appoint you as our delegates and emissaries. Just as those who appointed us, delegated us and sent us to be rabbis, and thus you are now ordained as rabbis and leaders. May your hands be like ours. Your decree like our decrees. Your rabbinic acts valid like ours. Your adjudication like our adjudication. Your blessings like our blessings. And so we ordain you. And call you rabbi. To teach Torah publicly. According to the path. Set out by Moshe, Miriam, and the people Israel.
I give you Rabbi Alan Levin, Rabbi Denny Marshall, Rabbi Kat Zavis, Rabbi Heather Paul, Rabbi Nachshon Karmi, and Rabbi Juliet Elkind Cruz.
The rabbis. Go for it.
It helps to have cantors. They know how to turn on the microphone. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize I was going to be speaking as a rabbi after I was ordained. And I want to say before I speak on blessings, what a blessing it is to have so many different paths that each of us here travel. And I love you all. So blessings. 13 years ago, when I entered a program to become a mashpia, a Jewish spiritual director, my very first Hevruta shared something with me I will never forget. She said, every morning when I wake up, I pray to be a blessing to someone today. Until that moment, I had only thought about blessings as words, special words, which create our connection with God and with each other. Our Jewish liturgy and practices are full of blessings, which we are called upon to say daily, weekly, and yearly. These words of blessings came from the sages who recognized how important it was to take time daily throughout our lives to acknowledge the gifts we have been given and how not to take these gifts for granted. Yet, from that moment 13 years ago, at the very beginning of my journey to become a rabbi, and up until this day, I have often thought about what it means not just to convey a blessing, but to be a blessing for others. Through my studies, I came to realize that the idea of being a blessing for others is at the very core of Torah, beginning when God says to Abraham, Avarechacha v'hiye bracha. I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. When we are a blessing to others, it is God's way of bringing blessings to the world through us. I began to wonder how I might be a blessing to others. I suppose in many ways I already was, as a wife, a mother, a sister, a friend, a community member, a therapist, like many around me and many here. But somehow that was not enough for me. How could I be a blessing within a Jewish context? I felt so inspired by my own blossoming spiritual journey within Judaism, and I wanted to share it with others. Over the next few years, I began to do this as a mashpia, a Jewish meditation teacher, a contemplative prayer leader, and a Musar facilitator. But still, I felt called, I felt moved for something more. And that is when I embarked on this incredible journey with Aleph to become a rabbi. I have worked with and learned from many amazing teachers, mentors, and colleagues who have been a blessing to me as I've traveled the path to this ordination today. I come to this ordination as an elder who is not seeking a congregation. So the ways in which I will touch other people's lives may look different than many of my colleagues, but I trust that Hashem will present me with many opportunities to be a vessel for God's blessings to flow through me to the others that I will surely encounter in my role as rabbi. And for my beloved colleagues, I was going to say receiving Smicha with me today, but who have received Smicha with me today. Yes, you can definitely clap for that. As you embark upon your journeys forward as rabbis and cantors, may you experience God's blessings, and may each of you be a blessing every day, just as you have been to me, and just as our teachers have been to us.
I became a mom on October 3rd. And today, I just became a rabbi. You all saw it. Mom and rabbi are two pretty big names to earn within 3 months. While my journey to motherhood included 5 years of infertility, pregnancy losses, and IVF, my journey to the rabbinate included 5 years of stumbling through Hebrew, wrestling with God, and finding my voice as a spiritual leader. I learned so much from both journeys. I can't tell you which was harder. I can tell you that both have been worth it. I can also tell you that having Aleph community to support me through both journeys has been a powerful blessing, especially when I felt most isolated and uncertain. I was pregnant at my first Ohala Shabbaton in 2018. Rabbi Marcia was reading Blessing for a New Beginning by John O'Donohue, and I teared up thinking about the two new beginnings that were quietly forming for me. The beginning of my life as a parent and the beginning of my rabbinical school journey. I miscarried a few months later. And since then, these two journeys have been deeply connected. At our last in-person Shabbaton in January 2020, my beloved Aleph friends surrounded me with song and prayer in a private blessing circle that I thought I didn't want but really needed before my IVF process began. We recorded the songs, and my friends' voices accompanied me to my doctor appointments. My daughter Ella, who is watching at home right now with her daddy, came from an embryo transferred 10 days after the 2021 Ohala Shabbaton. From January to January, from injections to hospital visits, from beginnings to blessings, we have been in it together. For my Aleph capstone, I put together a book of my original liturgy and rituals and blessings. Many of the pieces were written in response to prompts from my teachers, very holy homework assignments. And many of them were connected to my experience with infertility, a mikveh ritual for an IVF miscarriage, a blessing for starting an IVF cycle, which I shared with Aleph friends on Zoom the night before an egg retrieval. In moments of pain and moments of joy, blessings remind us that the world is holy. The world is holy. The Baal Shem Tov taught, God is garbed in everything. No place is devoid of the divine. We do not make something sacred by blessing it. Blessings help us elevate the holiness that already exists. If there was anything holy to be found on my IVF journey, my Aleph community elevated that holiness through blessings of love, presence, and compassion. I am grateful for the blessing of my daughter, for the blessing of the Smicha, and for the beautiful neshamot, the beautiful souls who blessed both of us along the way. As we all take the next steps in our journeys, may we be blessed with communities like the one I found here. May we be surrounded by people who remind us that holiness is pulsing through the universe as close to us as our own heartbeats. And may we be blessed to be that blessing for others, elevating the divine sparks that shine around and within us, and reminding others every day that they and we are not alone. Amen.
the most ancient of blessings channeled to us by the newest of Rabbanim and Chazanim. Yevarechecha Adonai Ve'yishmerecha
washed over to us all. May the light shine brightly on our lives. To us all, may the face of God smile kindly and grant the peace of heaven to us all. To our friends who are here with us today, thank you for all your love and support, and for your smiles and prayers of encouragement. You bring the peace of heaven to us all.
And to students who have walked this path with us, may Shekhinah light your way and guide your hearts. May your learning bring you close to the divine, to be the peace of heaven for us all. For our teachers, we bless you with gratitude. Thank you for sharing the Torah of your lives. We'll pass it on, midor ledor, to carry the peace of heaven to us all. And our families who have been the ones beside us, no words could be enough to repay all you've sacrificed all these years. You are the peace of heaven to us all. To us all. To us all. May we be blessed and watched over. To us all. May the light shine brightly on our lives. To us all, may the face of God smile kindly and grant the peace of heaven to us all. Please join us. To us all, may we be blessed and watched over. To us all, may the light shine brightly on our lives. To us all, may the face of God smile kindly and grant the peace of heaven to us all. And grant the peace of heaven to us
Please part the waters so that our musmachimot can go reflect for a moment together.